Hi, I'm Dr. Benway's Hands, and today we'll be doing a quick unboxing of the most recent David Bowie era's box set titled I Can't Give Everything Away. Very appropriate title as it's one of the later tracks on the last album he recorded, Blackstar, one of my absolute favorites. And this should encompass everything from about 2002 to 2016 or 17 with the No Plan EP. So Heathen to the No Plan EP. And then, of course, they have the Recall disc with the extra bonus stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up, and then we're going to just look at each little bit and talk about it here for a second, okay? Let me just get the box here. And, yep. Got this in a couple days ago, but I haven't had really a chance to dig into it. So we're going to go ahead and just watch me manhandle this box real quick. Hey, safety tip, kids, cut away from yourself, not towards. Also, sharpen your knife more often than I do. This is, yeah, okay, there we go. Aha! And there it is. Like all the other box sets, this is a glare there. Sorry about that, everybody. Like all the other box sets, this is just a picture of Mr. Bowie. This one's again towards the end of his career. And then a little back piece here. And this comes off, and I have all of these, so I tuck them in with the rest of the box. So let's go ahead and de-plastic this. Usually a very satisfying feeling. I'm going to go ahead and go. And then there it is. And this sort of, which details the content, sort of picks off this little rubber cement at the back there. Again, I like to just tuck it in with the rest of the stuff. And have, you know, the pictures to go with it. I'm going to go ahead and slide this open. Pretty standard, and then, okay. Now inside is, of course, a grouping of faux record sleeves. And we'll just look at each one in turn. Okay. So we're just going to tuck them back in as we look at them. The first one we're going to look at is Heathen, of course. Classic, in my mind, album. In this era, Bowie's work has become more... he's taken all the elements that he's been using to record. This is the liner art from the original album. I don't know why I'd be surprised by that. Yeah, this is the... where he... Wow, I am not speaking correctly. Give me a second to compose myself. There we go. This is when he takes all the techniques from all his other albums, I think, and kind of turns it into almost like a gestalt of musical skill and ability. And so this is really, I think, the apex of his career. I need a camera that focuses better. This is really an apex of his career as far as getting his music together and having all the sounds sort of combined to become these new, unique noises. I really, really love this era. It's one of my favorites. David Bowie at the Montreux Jazz Festival. I probably murdered that. I apologize to anybody who knows how to pronounce that correctly. It's nice 2-disc. Yeah, the discs outside the sleeves. I tend to tuck them into the sleeves. And then I get frustrated because they don't tuck in perfectly. And then it's just, why do you have the sleeves and the discs separate from the sleeves? It's the only criticism I really have about these. Classic track list, starting with Sunday from Heathen, and then Reality. For the longest time, this was the most recent Bowie album, like pretty much for 10 years, 2003 to 2013, so sort of fun. Another faux record sleeve. I get a kick out of that right there. I like him and the cartoon version of him, how they interact. Oh, okay, there we go. Mm-hmm. Get that guy back in there. A reality tour. This one's been around for a while. Yeah, this should have like 3 discs, if I can find them. Alright, here's one. Yep, that's CD2. And then, again, the faux record sleeves that goes with that. I don't know. I always... You think of Bowie as a vocalist, and he was a vocalist. There's this show on... There's CD1 right there. Netflix, I can't remember what it's called, like The History of Rock and Roll. And the auto-tune episode starts off with Ken Scott, who produced several Bowie records, or at least more than one, including one of my favorites, Station to Station, talking about how... It just opens up with him talking about how David Bowie hit almost every mark the first time vocally, like he was just prepared and that skilled. And then it goes on to how most musicians can't do that, and then it's talking about auto-tune. This is one of my favorite of his covers, The Next Day, and it's because he takes such a quintessential cover and then sort of obscures it with this sort of banal, almost like a post-it note on the CD. It crosses out the name of the heroes up there. And you kind of know it's the same poses he did. I wish I knew the name of the artist off the top of my head, because he's a significant artist. But both Bowie and Iggy did poses in '77. Iggy for The Idiot, and Bowie for Heroes. So good. Based off this artist's work, and I cannot remember who he was. And that's why the sort of distinct poses are sort of similar. The Idiot is also a superb album, which, Bowie, of course, had a part of. And then the inside cover is very psychedelic. Of course, the contrast is key to that, how these two, this almost dulled piece of art interacts with this very bright and happy looking piece of art. Very wonderful. Part of the reason why I love this collection is it preserves the original album art so wonderfully. And this is The Next Day EP, and it's sort of the same deal, and also sort of the same, if you look at the singles for the following album, it has that same sort of simplicity and almost archetypical shaping. Stereo, and then this is sort of, this box, this is kind of a sort of a smear effect that they have here, and it's sort of the same thing, but smeared. Neat. Minimalism reminds me of earlier Peter Cheville's stuff. Seville, probably mispronouncing that. Cat, who did a lot of the Joy Division and New Order stuff. That sort of minimalism. I bet if I research it, I'd find he might have something to do with it. Maybe not. And here it is. Blackstar, his final recording released in his life. And my camera's having issues focusing on this. Focus! It's only my 3rd unboxing. I'll get better. This actually says Bowie. It took me forever. I have a tattoo of this on my person, and it took me well after that to realize that says Bowie. Bowie. Just chunks of stars. And then that wonderful, I don't know if you can capture this, but there's a texture to it. There you go. You can almost see the kind of casual texture, and here you have these almost that captured it nicely. These sort of constellations and star charts that I really like. And then here's the booklet with the pictures, and then this just makes me sad. Oh gosh, so wonderful. The lyrics you can just barely make out. So Girl Loves Me is a song that's been stuck in my head since I got this box set. So that makes me happy, and I'll probably listen to it again a great deal. Of course, you saw where I got it from. This one, I got a digital copy with it. I don't know if that's available for everybody, but I lucked out on that. And then this is the No Plan EP, which of course has the same sort of symbolism as the Blackstar album. And this is just a couple of extra song and a couple of extra, and more like B-sides really, but it's good stuff. Lazarus is an amazing song too. And actually kind of, another thing is Lazarus sounds an awful like another song on Heathen, though the title of the song escapes me. I should do better research, but this is only the third of this type of video I've ever done. And then finally we have Recall 6, the final of the Recalls. Very basics, 3 discs. Good track listing, if I remember correctly. Some fun stuff here. I felt like the Recalls kind of, this is just me, the Recalls and the B-side stuff just sort of fell off after probably arguably like the worst received because of how the mixing was, but the best single collection of music, which is A New Career in a New Town, which covers Low, Heroes, Lodgers, Scary Monsters. I think it had 2 live albums in there, and then a wonderful selection of B-sides, but they messed up the mastering on Heroes on the disc and stuff like that. And Henry Rollins, of course, it's Henry Rollins, of course, calls them on it. And, they fixed it on the digital, and they sent out replacement discs if you had enough foresight to ask for it, which I did not. But yeah. Ever since then, with Loving the Alien and then A Beautiful Adventure and then this one, their B-sides seem to be, like, trying to, like, there's a spot, no, it's on my monitor. Warts and all sort of reviews, because I don't like editing. Those B-sides sort of don't really have everything. Like, I was particularly looking forward to the singles for Heart's Filthy Lesson and I'm Afraid of American for A Brilliant Adventure, and it didn't have those, probably licensing Trent Reznor, stuff like that. Big musician, collaborating with big musician. I mean, Under Pressure was probably a pull enough as it is. So there's that. Tuck that back in there. And like I said, I like to tuck this guy in there. I want to do that before I forgot. And then we have, finally, the box. And these usually have these wonderful stories, anecdotes. I don't want to flip around and show too much of it, but it's just wonderful, wonderful stuff. You can kind of read through it. I read through most of these. They're just wonderful individual snapshots of a brilliant man and his just wonderful and complicated career. There were highs, there were lows. The 80s were not kind to a lot of musicians, and he was one of them that didn't come out of it unscathed. He definitely had a lot of personal problems that he had to sort through, and he had some choices that were definitely questionable, but in the end, I think he always tried to be as weird as he was and encourage other folks to do the same. And that's one of the reasons why I absolutely adore the man and his legacy. I do wish that they had the more of the singles from The Outside and Earthling. Well, no, actually, just more of the singles available in the box sets. I wish that happened. If they had kind of just a singles box set for those eras, I would buy it all day. I know they had an additional live box set that came out for Brilliant Adventures, Brilliant Live Adventures. You kind of had to piece together, and I enjoyed that a great deal. And I wish they'd give Tin Machine a little bit more of a treatment, because it completely blows off that part. And you sort of feel that gap when you go from the Loving an Alien box set, chronologically ends with a live show, to starts off with Black Tie, White Noise on Brilliant Adventures, and that, of course, is jarring because he had a lot of fun experiences between there. So that's what I have here. Thanks y'all for watching and listening to me talk a little bit about this. And hopefully I'll see you on my next unboxing thing, which I'm actually planning on doing here shortly, and that's for a completely different kind of thing. So, must plug. I always forget this. I do live streaming on video games. That's my main deal. This is just something I'm doing on the side to, you know, help folks kind of migrate over to my channels. And it's just, I'm a big nerd and I'm spending all this money anyway, so I might as well. I'm not getting paid for any of this. This is not a paid promotion whatsoever. But if you guys could like and subscribe, maybe watch some of my live streams, which I'm trying to do right now, Mondays, Thursdays at 11:30 p.m. or a.m., both those days, and then Saturdays, usually around 2, but sometimes later. If you guys could like and subscribe and maybe check that out here or on Twitch, that would be fantastic. Try to put my link tree in the description if I remember to. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will talk to you all next time.